Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Now, as much as you want to just be all up in Kat's love spot here and be like, oh, women power, do you genuinely believe she can take a football and stand at the 30-yard line and punt that through the field goal post?
Is this really going to dominate our show? Because I feel like we have more content than
I
this.
can't be lied to.
I'll take Team Cat today.
Thank you. And you know what
some
I
money on
also
that?
believe is that if I'm not going to have confidence in myself, who is? You know what I mean? Like, if I have confidence in myself and I go out and I don't do it, what do I lose? Nothing, because I'm not the idiot betting money. So,
Yeah,
winner,
I don't know if I have
winner.
enough confidence to bet it, though.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just still go on with my life if it doesn't
Just being
happen.
a giant failure.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, ice anglers, this is for you. You will get to keep one less walleye while fishing in Upper Red Lake this winter. The Minnesota DNR says starting on Tuesday, November 1st, regulations are going to change from a daily limit of 4 down to 3, with one fish over 17 inches long that can be kept. Why do I get so hungry when I talk about walleye? Delicious deep fried walleye.
Oh,
With some
Lent
French
will be here
fries
before you know it.
and a big beer. Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
I got an invitation to a Halloween party.
Don't you want to get dressed up in a really scary costume and get some candy?
Don't you know what happens on Halloween?
It must be the season of the witch.
Happy Halloween! We love your costume.
Happy Halloween.
All right, so I have 2 costumes that I'm going back and forth with for hosting the Kids and Parents Expo. So it's either a big heart, because I have such a big heart,
Okay.
or a sexy Playboy bunny. So I think the
Well, you got to go Playboy Bunny if it's for kids.
Sure.
Right?
It
Plus,
just
didn't we
makes
buy that
sense.
heart for some kind of Valentine's promotion? You can't wear that right about now, didn't
I
we?
didn't buy it. But yeah, I'll sport it either way. That's okay. But it's happening this Saturday at the Rivers Edge Convention Center. I'm hosting. Can't wait to have fun with you. And the whole family can take part. So special trick-or-treating hour is at the end of the event. Doors open at 9:30. If you want to go, I have some tickets with me right now. So why don't you just text Halloween super quick, and I will find a bunch of winners. Remember, kids 12 and older, you pay for. 12 and under are free. So I guess 13 and over, whatever. But yeah, make sure that you're there. Balloon twister, crazy hair contest, bounce houses, and so much more. And we will see you there. A Minnesota man facing charges after accidentally shooting himself in the leg while he was at a corn maze.
He was removing corn kernels from his boot by bending over at the waist, and that's when the firearm discharged. Yeah, maybe you're carrying it for personal protection, but you also have to think about the people around. You have that responsibility to make sure that you're making good decisions and that you have the equipment and that you're conducting yourself to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, if you're having it on your person to protect other people just in case there's a madman running around out there, you need to make sure that you're doing what you can.
Why's it always got to be a man?
Because it was a man. TikTok user named Steven, he is sparking this online debate today. So he went to Olive Garden for a business meeting, and he was pushed too far.
We sat down, the waiter showed up. He asked, what would you like to drink? I told him I wanted a Dr. Pepper. The guy that was with me, from my company, told him the same thing. He said, let me get some alcohol started for you. What would you like? And I'm like, no, I don't drink. I've literally had problems in the past with it, so I don't drink. He's like, come on, let me get you something to drink. I'm like, dude, we're at work. Company policies, you don't drink while you're working. And he's like, well, your boss won't know. I go, I am the boss. He's like, well, there you go. And, it kept going. And I said no. The guy that was with me said no. And I finally had to put my hand down on the table and said, look, no, we don't want anything. We said no.
Well, classic internet calling for this guy's firing. I'm like, all right.
You can say no. You can just say no.
Well, it sounds like they said no multiple times, but I feel like this is just a conversation that a boss can have with his employee, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This can be fixed right away. The other thing is, you can't ask for someone's job. What's saying this guy isn't lying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's saying this guy doesn't have some kind of beef with this other guy for some reason? His ex-girlfriend's friend or something. You know what I mean? Like,
who knows?
Unless you were there at that conversation, you got to pipe down.
All right. So I was watching Dahmer, and the main theme was, 1, he likes to kill people, but 2, he's just always disappointing his dad. His dad's face every single time he has to go pick him up because he got kicked out of the army or he got fired or he flunked out of school. I mean, it was one thing
Wrecked
after
his dad's
another.
Boat when they were filming that music video.
Yes. Oh my God, I finally got that. So I saw the meme before I started watching Dahmer, and it was like, stop giving this guy kids. And so I said to Derek, we started watching, I'm like, is John C. Reilly really in this? Because that would take down the credibility of this show. He goes, don't you understand? He's like, it's like horrible kids. Stop giving this guy kids. Anyway, so let's get to Stephanie first, and then we can tell our moment of disappointment with our parents. Mine happened twice with the same thing. I'm just a jerk kid.
Stephanie, mom and or dad looked at you and said, we're so disappointed in you. Why?
I got suspended from school for drinking.
Oh, were you drinking in school? You were drunk at school?
No, I wasn't drunk. I only had a couple drinks.
Was it vodka in a Mountain Dew bottle?
It was.
Oh my God, I got that right. We had a whole section of kids in our school that would do the same, and they would keep it in their locker, but they would bring vodka in a Mountain Dew bottle. Yeah.
Oh my God, I knew nobody like that. So obviously vodka is very hard to detect via nose. Were you acting funny, or who gave you up?
My friend, an old friend, she was jealous of a friend.
You don't have very good friends.
Jealous of how cool you were?
No.
And how long was the suspension?
3 or 4 days.
So they call mom and dad, and they got to come pick you up. And did you get the speech there, or did they wait to get you home at the kitchen table and hit you with both ends?
Because that silent ride home is the worst.
On the ride home.
Okay.
You remember it to this day? How old are you now?
31.
Jeez, you're hanging on to that. Do they still talk about it? Are mom and dad around?
No, they don't talk about it.
That's just a silent situation.
Do you have kids?
Yep.
Okay, so you're like me. Yeah. Like I've done a lot of dumb things. So therefore we can sniff it out. Like we're trained and we can detect when our kids are doing dumb things. I tell Liam all the time, don't even think for a moment you're going to get away with stuff. Your dad and I have done a lot. And so he won't, hopefully.
Stephanie, how do you keep your kids from being a Stephanie?
I don't know yet.
Good luck with that. You know, this is hard.
Hopefully they just don't.
This is hard karma coming your way. Have a great morning. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yep.
Take care.
Like Liam is a better kid than I ever was.
Maybe.
Like I was polite to grown-ups. I was a very nice kid, but I just did dumb things.
Just takes one little shove.
I'm going to let you go first.
Well, mine was very, very simple. The day I got my driver's license, passed my test at 10 o'clock that morning. There was a volleyball game that night. So, Mom, can I have the car? Yes.
Yeah. What kind of car?
She had a Pontiac 6000.
Okay. Was it nice?
It was a pretty nice car. It had like the luxury package on it. You know what I mean? Like had everything. That was when they were first starting to put buttons on the steering wheel and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like this thing was a pretty loaded out car. And Mom, can I have the car? Yep. Go to the volleyball game. Leave early. Whole bunch of people. Like 5 extra people in the car. You're supposed to have like 1, right?
Yeah.
And hey, you guys want to go get go to Hardee's? Absolutely. Boom. Pack the car full of people. Hit this gravel road, and I thought it would be cool just to give it a little juice.
Yeah.
Got sideways, ended up going off the road, hitting a tree.
God.
Totaled my mom's car.
How do you even have that conversation? Like, what did she start off with? I'm glad you're okay.
Well, so I go to and we didn't have cell phones back in the day, right? This is a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
I go to the closest gas station. I drop I don't have a quarter on me. I got to get a quarter from the guy that's behind the desk, right? Or taking money. Okay, I crashed my mom's car. Can I get a quarter? I hit the payphone, call home. Mom just got in an accident. Everybody's fine, but your car's messed up. She just goes, I'm sending your father.
Oh, no.
And I'm like,
Can you just come?
Right. That was it. Because I wanted to talk to her because my dad had answered the phone. Dad, is Mom there?
Yeah.
And thinking that it was going to be better if he didn't know. And he got there and gave everybody else a ride home. And it was the silent treatment the whole way home. I'm like, Dad, can you yell at me or hit me or something? And and
that's horrible.
And nothing.
Oh.
And we sit down at the table, and I remember this is clear as day. My dad grabs 2 bottles of beer out of the fridge.
Yeah.
And he pours one for my mom, and he pours one for himself. And I'm just sitting there going, somebody just do something.
Yeah.
And they sat and looked at each other. And then they look at me every once in a while, and they drank those beers.
In silence?
In silence. And then my dad goes, you know what? Bless you.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about this tomorrow.
Oh, ouch.
And if you're a young parent,
yeah,
letting something hang and letting that kid think about it for a full day is worse than any punishment you're going to hand down.
Yeah.
And I think it was because that was on a Thursday night, I think. So Friday, got to wait for the old man to get home.
Oh, my God.
And,
that's awful.
And my mom's like, you should have a seat. Your dad's going to be home any minute.
Yeah. Oof.
And basically they came in, they go, well, you can't drive for 6 months. And I think I got to move 2 or 3 wood piles that weekend.
That's that.
And that was that. But
do we have time to call my mom real quick?
yeah, let's see. Can we?
Because if she answers, I want her to pick one that she was the most disappointed
You have
in.
several to choose from.
I have 5 off the bat, like big ones, like ones I remember, core memories. But I want to see. I'm curious to see what she says. If she doesn't answer, then I'll tell you which one I think.
Apparently, self-loathing is the title of today's show. So we're talking about the times we really embarrassed our parents. And I was thinking about all of the stupid stuff I did, but it was that crash in my mom's car that I know was more disappointing to them than me saying, oh, by the way, I'm not going to law school.
Yeah.
By the way, everything else I felt like that was always the big one for my dad. You just don't want to be a lawyer? You still don't want to be a lawyer?
You argue all the time.
I know, and I'm like, I probably would have been okay at it, but I was like, I didn't want to be that lifestyle. So the time you disappointed, we tried to get a hold of Kat's mom. She won't even answer.
You hear her fake voicemail?
Yeah.
Look, okay, so this is what she would do, like back in the day on our house phone. She'd be like, shut the hell up. Like that would be loud in the background. And she'd be like, hi, you've reached the Clarks. We are out and about. Just like, you weren't so fake. So
her
anyway.
Voicemail now. Hi. Can't get to the phone
Jennifer.
right now.
So I am probably going to choose the one that really got her, and that is when she worked really hard. Like both of my parents worked really hard. We had a lot of really great things, but I remember it was Christmas, and she said, do not go out into the garage and look in the van. Do not. Whatever you do, I'm telling you, it will not turn out well. So what do I do at 11? I wait for her to
go to sleep,
go do something with my infant brother in the back room, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check out what she's talking about. And I go out there, and there is a
body
mouse mansion. So I had mice, and I loved it. And she got me this tube mansion, and it spanned the length and height of my wall, one of my walls in my bedroom. It was crazy. And I saw all the tubes, and I was like, oh, snap. I was so excited that I left the back door of her van open, and I ran back inside. She goes out to grab something from the fridge in the garage, and she sees the van door open.
You're
She's
such
like,
a dummy.
Get over here. And I'm like, my heart stinks. And I'm like, what? She goes, did you go look at my van? I go, no. And then she goes, why is the back door open? And I was just like, all right, I saw it. Thank you so much. I want it. And I didn't know how I was going to receive it at Christmas, so I just ruined it for her. She gets in the van crying, leaves for hours. I don't even know where she went. Maybe to my grandparents'
Down
house.
to the river to smoke a doobie.
I don't know. Just smoke her problems away. No, she never smoked. But I just remember her coming back and her eyes were all puffy.
Oh, no.
And it was like so sad. I remember that. But then I'm like, you should have gotten a better hiding spot. You know what I mean?
But was Tube City all it was cracked up to?
It
was it pretty awesome?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like middle of the night, they were up, and all you'd see is like their little bodies running all around the tube. And yeah, looking back, I would just like.
So good to have those kind of germs in the house.
I was a jerk. But yeah, she was like, I'm just disappointed.
Those are the worst.
I'm just disappointed. And she has this voice that she does, and it's like makes your whole body sink. Just disappointed. And that was that. God, but I could have eaten people's hearts. I really could have. If I knew about Dahmer, I could have said he disappointed his dad because
was worse.
He ate people.
And Ed Gein. Off we go with the Wednesday show. How's Kat feeling?
I am great. Are we going to sing all day?
That would be even more annoying than not having the internet or a telephone for a show.
I read Mercury in retrograde yesterday.
Shocker.
Right? So, and it's going to continue.
And I was getting clowned yesterday by all the other football coaches. They're like,
"Oh, you didn't have internet?"
Yeah, they're like, heard the show, no internet, no telephones. How was that? That had to suck. And I'm like, yeah, it really did. So thanks for rubbing it in.
If we didn't have the internet, we wouldn't have located the feature on our Facebook Live on our phones where we can invite people.
That's cool.
And that was kind of cool to sit there and talk to people. But, okay, so I was looking at my daily horoscope. This, I think, was for yesterday. It says problems with machines could have your nerves on edge. This may be one day when everything seems like it's about to break.
It did.
Some things you can fix yourself, but others you have to rely on other people. Maybe that was meant for you.
No.
You're the fixer around here.
Tried. I can't. Some things are out of my control, like the internet.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like mine for tomorrow either. I'm just going to move past that one. The ones I don't like, I don't pay attention to.
X out on.
I'm like, that one's not for me.
Glad that we could get Alicia on the phone today. So we know enough to know kind of what she's going through, but lay it out for our listeners real quick, will you?
I'm dating this guy. He's wonderful. He's gorgeous, and he is always perfectly put together. I mean, like perfectly put together, like Hallmark movie, gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, you know, you hear guys complain about women that, you know, 5 minutes to get ready is actually like 45 minutes to get ready.
Okay.
But that's him. He takes longer to get ready to go out. Like he's primping himself. He takes the longest shower of anybody I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, we know what that means when it comes to the guys' world, what they're doing in there. But,
Whoa. So you're going to break it off with this guy because he takes longer showers than you do?
He takes forever, and he's primping. He's got more products than all the Queer Eyes put together. I mean, and it's got to use everything. He's got to put the this. He's got to put the that. He's got and I just then he's primping in the mirror like he's waiting to be judged on Mr. America or something. It's just
wow.
I feel like he's looking at himself all the time. He's always wondering about how he's always concerned about how he looks, and I'm like, at some point he's going to look over at me and go, eh.
Well, the thing is, I don't think he'd be with you right now if he didn't like what he saw. Maybe he's trying to match what he sees.
Oh.
So are you super hot? Maybe he wants to be the best for you.
I never thought I'm hot, but I'm insecure. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Is he always going to put himself first? Is he conceited? Is he in love with himself? I want him to be in love with me and look at me the way he looks at himself in the mirror.
All right, I think this is time to turn things over to the listeners. Real quick, hit us with a call. Your thoughts on this. Is him taking so much longer and putting on so much more product a red flag for what's to come? Heard from a young woman named Alicia. Basically, her story is this guy that she's with is taking like twice, sometimes 3 times as long to get ready for when they go out. And is that a red flag?
It might show that he is obsessed and vain with his looks, but it could also be, I want to look great for when we step out together. So I could see it both angles, but you could say, listen, you're being rude. You're making me wait a while. Like guys have no problem telling girls that.
Oh, that's not the case. You can't if you're waiting for your wife for another 25 minutes and you're done and you're just sitting there, you can't say, "Hey, let's go."
You've never yelled up the stairs, "Trish, we got to go."
Well, yeah, like if there's an Uber in the driveway or our friends are waiting for us. Yeah, but it's like I don't tell her to hurry up. I would never do that.
I just want to know what he's doing in there for that long. You know what I mean? Like you don't have makeup to do. You have very short hair, I'm sure. So,
hey, Paige, is this a red flag if he takes like so much longer than you to get ready?
So I don't want to say that I have the same trouble, but I can absolutely relate. My question to her is where is this guy from? Because my boyfriend's from Cali, and so he does all the accessories, the necklaces and stuff like that, but he doesn't go as far as hair product and colognes. So I personally take maybe 10 minutes to brush out my hair and throw some eyeliner on it. I'm good to go. I was born and raised in Minnesota, so I'm by no means.
You're low maintenance.
Do you do one of those things when you're all done, you look in the mirror?
I consider myself simple.
And you're like,
yeah, I just consider myself simple, right.
Okay. So when you got with him, did you know that he was going to take a long time getting ready, much longer than you? And that wasn't a turnoff, obviously.
No, actually, I learned to appreciate it a little. And he's not dramatic. He's only maybe 20 minutes longer than me. But, I learned to actually appreciate it. Yeah, he takes longer. He does. But he likes to misplace stuff. So it's mostly looking for the keys.
Oh, got it.
In his hair.
Got one of those in my life, too, yeah.
So just all about the jewelry.
But yeah, he takes time. Yeah, I mean, the jewelry and he'll like match, like, of course, like his t-shirt to like his shoelaces and stuff like that. Like, he looks nice. He takes the time, and I actually do appreciate it. So it doesn't bother me so much. But if he's kind of went overboard with like the product, if you've got more moose than me, we could have a talk.
Yeah, maybe. Sarah had texted in that same thing. She said, my husband uses, thank you for calling, by the way.
Thanks,
Paige. My husband uses more product. He has more designer labels, spends more time in the mirror than I do. Been together forever. It's just him. So we tease him about how long he takes.
Man, I'm a 3-minute get together. I can shower for a minute and be clean. I can dry off, brush my teeth, and put some lotion on my head, and I'm out.
Your socks don't match, and you comb your hair with a spoon.
I don't care.
You
about
don't
the
take
socks.
too long.
Yeah, I'm pretty low maintenance. Now that you mentioned pizza, you've seen that eBay pulled all of their Jeffrey Dahmer costumes, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
So many people had talked about dressing up, because Dahmer's obviously such a whirlwind on Netflix. They were talking about dressing up like Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying very, very insensitive. So it's so much that eBay pulled all the Dahmer costumes off. You can't buy one on eBay now.
You can just make your own. They're so easy to make, but...
Tell me if this bothers you. There's a pizza place in Lubbock, Texas called Capital Pizza. They're catching a lot of heat for their Halloween decorations that kind of indicate what Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite pizza would look like. So here's the deal. The toppings include fake eyeballs, severed fingers, a fake ear, noodles that resemble intestines, and there's a sign under it that says Jeffrey Dahmer Special.
That's really gross.
Now, just to make sure I'm clear, this is the only decoration on their front counter.
So you can't
It's not
order
something
it.
on their menu.
All right.
People still think it's inappropriate.
But didn't he only eat the heart?
Boy, I don't know.
He only ate the heart. And you know what's really messed up? It looked so good when he was searing it.
And this manager says one of the waitresses came up with the idea, and he's not backing down. He's digging
Standing
in.
by as an
He said,
employee.
you can try and cancel me all you want, but this is the part where I'm like, all right, if this bothers me, I just don't go eat at this pizza place, right?
Right.
But does it bother you enough that you would want to do something about it, Kat?
No, I wouldn't do something about it, but and I probably wouldn't cancel them as a restaurant. It is what it is. Promotional ideas come and go, but I think of the victims. Like now watching the show and how innocent his one boyfriend, like the one he made a connection with was, and then he forgets his keys and he kills him. Sorry if I ruined it, but I mean, it really does just show
most
you.
People knew what Jeffrey Dahmer did.
There were faces to the names that were on the missing signs. And that's where my mind would go. I'd be like, oh, that's in poor taste.
Thanks for making the playoffs part of your morning. I'm JJ Katz here as well. I know it's getting cold, but you guys are still doing that Halloween golf scramble?
Well, I have found out that they no longer would like me to go.
You've been uninvited?
I have been uninvited due to sharking in the past, and I am not.
You were making so much money on the golf course.
I was, and listen, it's word didn't get around fast enough, so if you're going to offer up some money, I'm going to take it from you. And it was a skill that I learned like a long time ago, and I try to sign up for as many scrambles as I can because
the word is out.
The word is out. They all know that, but I do have an unconventional shot, like when I go to drive. And so I get why word would spread, but I did it out of like desperation. So back in the day, my grandma, she was just amazing. So my dad had passed away, sadly, and she took me in and she raised me. And I hadn't known her up until that point. So it was almost like a stranger, but
Did she ever wear like a kiss mask to make you feel well? Did I hear that story?
And oddly it did. It was weird. And so she raised me. And then I, as an adult, tried to help her as much as I could. But, before I started here, I was like down on my luck, had no money. And I found out she was about to lose her house. And I'm like, listen, I have a skill that could make some money to get her out of these money woes. I got to do what I can. And
hold on before we get to the rest of that. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well.
What's going on? Why are you calling?
It sounded like she was talking about Happy Gilmore.
Are they getting easier and easier? Maybe I need to do more obscure movies to make them mine. Like I was going to do Silence of the Lambs. That was
Hello, Clarice.
And I was lowered into a well. And
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.